tweet out a link.
Breaking news. In order to differentiate between the two, I'm not going to slide on breaking news.
Yep.
Um, just because we're in the business mode for this.
Well, yeah, and you can't be mixing shows, that's
Yeah.
dangerous. All right, copy link. Throw it on Twitter. Tweet. Talking Andrew Wiggins trade for D low right now on YouTube. Okay. All right, Seth. Things are happening. How are you? We're here on a slightly different occasion now than what we normally are. Normally, we're here about an hour and a half from now on a good day, and we're talking all sorts of stuff. But today, we're talking breaking news. Like, breaking as in the Minnesota Timberwolves finally got rid of Andrew Wiggins.
Oh yeah,
Whoop,
that.
whoop, 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 whoop. Seth can't see it right now because he can't see me and he's not watching the stream, but I'm doing my happy dance. Whoop, 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 whoop. Seth.
That one person that was watching just left.
Seth. Hey, Seth. Guess what?
What?
The Timberwolves finally did it. Whoop, 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 whoop. Andrew Wiggins is gone. Whoop, 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 whoop. This, Seth, we need a party. I don't know what
Do
kind of party, but we need a party like the kind of party, the grandest of parties. Only the type of parties that you throw for the most important of situations. We need one of those parties right now.
I'll never say no to that.
What are your thoughts on losing Andrew Wiggins and gaining D'Angelo Russell, Mr. Seth Toops?
Well, what are you really losing? You're losing a bad contract for a player who has never lived up to the massive expectations of being a number one overall pick. With the exception of games that he plays against the Clippers and Cleveland and
That's
like
it.
Oklahoma City, I think, like one or two
Yeah,
times.
maybe a few times with Oklahoma City. You might be right.
This is about purging low expectations or purging high expectations and low results. It's about taking that off the roster and bringing in a player who is the best point guard that we've had since.
That's a good question. Who is he, our best point guard that we've had since? I'm trying. That's an interesting question. Um, I better than Ricky Rubio because he can shoot, and that's an important part of basketball, from what I've heard. Um, if you go back, if you go back before Ricky Rubio, then obviously you've got Flynn, who doesn't matter. Terrell Brandon. We got to pull this up. This is an interesting question. Who is D'Angelo Russell, our best point guard since? Um,
Probably Marbury.
that's what I don't know. Is he well? But he's not better than Billups. Maybe when Billups was with us, but not Billups in his prime.
Yeah.
Um, Timberwolves point guards history. I wonder if I'll be able to find this easily at all.
Spoiler alert: if you're looking at the Wolves' point guard history for the first time, it's not great.
Yeah, it's definitely not gonna be very good. Oh, here we go. Well, this is via Ranker. Ranker.com. They put Ricky Rubio at number 1. What a joke.
Is that Adam website?
It's Ranker. So have you ever been on Ranker where like you upvote and downvote every option? So it's all like fan voted. So they've got Ricky Rubio number 1, Stephon Marbury number 2, Derrick Rose number 3, Sam Cassell. Oh, Sam Cassell. Duh. Chauncey Billups, Jeff Teague, Zach LaVine, if you want to put him at a point guard. So yeah, I mean, we had Spud Webb on our team in 1996. Did you know that?
I did now.
All right, so if I'm ranking, I'm putting him ahead of Ricky Rubio, Stephon Marbury, Sam Cassell, Chauncey Billups, somewhere in there. So that puts us 2005 was when Cassell was last here. So it's been a long time since we've had a good point guard in Minnesota.
Good Lord.
But go ahead, your thoughts.
I was more so just reacting to the fact that it's been that long since we've had a true scoring point guard, like a top level NBA player. Russell's not Jeff Teague, where you can expect 11 points, 8 assists a night. Russell's going to get you upper 20s on a nightly basis, can shoot from 3, a dynamic scorer that is capable of taking over a game. They have not had that in quite some time.
No, I mean, we haven't had it in like a really long time. And for those joining us right now, you're going to see me looking down at our phones. This is not a show that's meant to, we are constant entertainment. But it's not something where we're going to sit and stare at the camera. We're trying to recap everything that's going on right now. Gorgui Dieng also got traded. What did Gorgui Dieng get traded for, Seth?
Something called James Johnson.
What is a James Johnson?
That's a great question. He comes from Miami, so I'm guessing kind of a role player.
I've heard of him before.
Minimal salary, probably, which is the big takeaway from that trade.
Yeah. Minnesota has joined the Miami-Memphis deal and will trade Gorgui Dieng for James Johnson, league source tells ESPN. Who is James Johnson? It doesn't even fucking matter. Let's be realistic.
If I recall correct, I want to say I may be thinking of the wrong player, but I think James Johnson is a big. But again, not making even anywhere close to the amount of money that Gorgui was making.
I'm pulling him up right now. And then we got to get into this. Because, I mean, he's 6'7", power forward. 5 points. 3 rebounds a game. Yeah. So essentially, the Wolves have given up their entire team other than D'Angelo Russell and Cat. They've also given up their entire 2021 draft, which is fine. So the 2021 pick is protected, but if the Wolves land in the top 3 of next year's draft, then the Cat, D'Angelo Russell experiment is a failure. So that pick should be for not for this coming draft, but for 2021. Should definitely not be ours anymore. And the second round pick is also 2021. So we essentially gave up our entire 2021 draft, which makes this 2020 pick very important. Is there any way, like I just said, they traded away everybody other than D'Angelo Russell and Cat. Can D'Angelo Russell and Cat make the Wolves a mediocre team Or are we still, even with those two, destined for a tank the rest of the season?
Um, I still think they're going to. I still think, barring some sort of just miracle like gelling process, and don't get me wrong, I think they'll coexist just fine. I still think this is just a hilariously bad roster otherwise. So probably still looking at being a pick in somewhere in that 5 to 10 range. Um, I have had a fun day watching the reaction to this because there are several people that say that we gave up too much for Russell, that we should have held on to Andrew Wiggins. When this is exactly what everyone has been clamoring for since Gerson Rosas took over, is to
Who is saying
life.
that? I want to know who's talking the slander. That's what I want to know because it. They should just be taken completely off of Twitter. How have you been a Timberwolves fan, watched what Andrew Wiggins has done for the Timberwolves for the last however many years, and actually come to the conclusion that this is a bad deal? We thought that, here's the thing about this deal, all right? We thought that we would have to give up a first-round pick to get rid of Andrew Wiggins and
Mm-hmm.
a first-round pick to get D'Angelo Russell. We gave up
Right.
one first-round pick and got both things accomplished. This is an absolute W. Victory, home run, 2 home runs, 4 for 4 with 4 home runs. This is knocked directly out of the fucking park, and anybody who says differently should not be on Twitter, should not be talking Timberwolves basketball, period, because you just haven't been watching. Seth, the Timberwolves are worth our thoughts, our minds, being a fan again. Everything about the Timberwolves is back in play now. I don't care how bad they are the rest of this season. We no longer have the anchor that has just clutched us to the very bottom of the NBA ocean that is Andrew Wiggins. That anchor is gone, away with, over, finito. We are stripped of just the terrible contract that Andrew Wiggins had, and we now have hope as a franchise again. I don't think people are really realizing how important what just happened really is to the future of this franchise.
Well, and furthermore, there's no point in having draft picks if you as a franchise have, for the most part, been really bad at drafting. So you may as well trade them for established players. In the NBA, that's what I would do. That's what I would expect the teams that I follow to do is bring in established players. And who cares about draft picks if you have a roster that now is going to have two top end players? I'm going far enough that I don't think Devin Booker's out of the realm of possibility because they do still have Josh Okogie and Jarrett Culver. At this point, I don't care if they trade those two.
And two first 2020 picks.
Because here's now what happens. This happens anytime you get a trio, a big three, if you'd like to call it. You then have veteran players that say, well, shit, they've got three high-end players. So, A, they don't have a lot of salary cap. But, B, they represent a great chance to get to the playoffs, maybe get to the finals. So then you get veteran players that come in for less money than they would make elsewhere because they're ring chasing. Now, would that trio of Cat, Russell, and Booker be able to get to that point? It remains to be seen, but that would stand the best chance for us to make a deep run in the playoffs. And so I now want Gerson to just go full bore, and whatever the cost is, I don't care. Go get Devin Booker.
I mean, it's funny because like there's nothing that's stopping us. I'm not saying that you're gonna get Devin Booker right now. I mean, if you did, I mean, this would just be the most ridiculous trade deadline of all time. I'm not saying you have to get Devin Booker right now, but you have everything that you need to go and get, if not Devin Booker, somebody like Devin Booker, because now Gorgie Jang is gone. We just traded away his money. Andrew Wiggins was a straight up swap for D'Angelo Russell, and when we traded Robert Covington, that was also a salary dump. So we have plenty of room for a max contract plus more. That's what I've been saying this whole time. Andrew Wiggins has been holding this team back from doing anything that it's wanted to do for so long since we signed that stupid fucking contract. And now he's gone. Everything is possible. The whole world is our oyster, Seth. We can do whatever the fuck we want to. When nothing is holding us back anymore. I've been sitting here telling every single Timberwolves fan on Twitter, stop it. Stop it. Calm down. Stop it. No, don't. No, stop. Stop. Don't get excited. Stop. Stop being... That's all over now. That's all over. Everybody can be excited. We can rejoice in the streets because Andrew Wiggins is gone and will never come back. And speaking of Andrew Wiggins, everybody thinks Steve Kerr is the savant of a basketball coach. What a fucking idiot that guy is. He just ruined his entire franchise. Everybody was talking about Golden State. Wow, look at Golden State. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, they get hurt for 1 year. Now Golden State is going to tank, get the number 1 pick with cap space left. They have so many options. The world was their oyster. And what do? What does Steve Kerr do? He goes, no. No. I don't want to win anymore. No. I want Andrew Wiggins on my team. That's what I want. And he tanks their entire franchise, and now they have no chance of ever winning a championship ever again. Just the best. What a great day. Oh, just the best day.
I don't know. I don't think the comparisons between Kevin Durant and Andrew Wiggins are that far off.
It's a great point, Seth. That's a great point. You know, they do have a lot in common. I mean, really, what are you even losing when you switch from Kevin Durant to Andrew Wiggins? That's what they're doing too.
Burner account on Twitter. That's what you're losing.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're never gonna find an Andrew Wiggins burner account on Twitter. Oh man.
So I just mentioned Devin Booker because that is the most logical, pairing with these two.
Yeah.
But you could go get somebody like Bradley Beal, who's a great scorer. He's a good defender. He could then be, he could be your 2 guard. That would be a player that they could go try to acquire. I don't know what his salary is.
Who was it? I'm sorry. Who was it?
Bradley Beal.
Oh, yeah.
So you have these options now to where you can say, hey, we're going to go poach somebody from a roster who's not happy with where they're at. Beal is miserable in Washington because they're just awful. They options and flexibility. Those are the 2 words now that we can associate with this team. They have options because they have assets that they can move, and they have flexibility because now they have gotten rid of the biggest contracts on their books. They've got their 2 stars. They've got Russell. They've got Cat. And now they got some money to put some players around them.
Yeah, I can't believe this got done. The other thing that was interesting, did you see all of the rumors that were swirling with the president of basketball operations job in New York being filled by one of Cat's agents? So the New York Knicks, about 2 hours before this happens, or this whole deal happened, Woj releases a story that the New York Knicks are filling their Pobo position with one of Cat's agents, one of the guys who heads Cat's agency, or whatever, right? His represents him. CAA. That's the name of the agency. That's the acronym, at least. Anyways, so then rumors start flying a little bit that Cat could be, because he's unhappy, could possibly be going to New York, not right now, but in the future. And then before the deadline starts, before this happens again, there's talk that the Knicks are going to try and get Russell to New York before the deadline. And when that happened, I tweeted out, if Russell goes to the Knicks along with Cat's agent, we might as well send them Cat right now so that this doesn't drag on for months, embarrassing us forever. I don't know if there's any possibility, but I wonder because there was something holding Minnesota back. I wonder if all of that happening is what made the Timberwolves just go, you know what, we're just gonna squash this right now. We're gonna get because now that Russell's here, like I don't see an end game for Cat in Minnesota ever until his contract's done. He and D'Lo are best friends. Like there to me, everything that was talking about Cat possibly leaving is all dead now that D'Lo's here. Like I see Cat being here for the rest of his contract, especially if we can win some games and make the playoffs. So that's all dead now.
Well, yeah, because the Knicks can't be trusted to do anything right.
That's a
So,
good point.
well, the
They're
other
even
thing,
they're even worse run than us.
it's not even a comparison.
Wow.
The other thing, I was following this yesterday through the night into this morning, and obviously the Warriors were asking for a ton, which is why this trade didn't happen yesterday. But I got the sense that Golden State was just trying to kind of milk a little more out of it because other than the Knicks popping up today, who were any of the other teams that were in on D'Angelo Russell?
I think the Knicks have kind of been in on him a little bit, but that's why most people, especially like Darren Wolfson, Bobby Marks, talked about how this wasn't going to happen, this deadline, because there was nothing like the Timberwolves were obviously wanting Russell, the Knicks wanted him a little bit, but there really wasn't a lot of incentive for Golden State to move him right now. So a lot of people didn't think that this deal would get done at all until the offseason. And then that's what makes me think that what happened a couple hours ago with Cat's agent, like, I'm not saying that it was going to end up with Cat and Russell in New York. I'm just saying it might have been that last tipping point where Rosas and company was just like, you know what? Instead of offering 2 second rounders, let's just give them that first rounder that they want. You know, it was something that just like pushed them over the edge and said, all right, let's just get this done with. Let's get Cat happy. Let's just end this whole thing and move on with our lives.
Yeah, the math all checks out on that. There could have been any number of factors that ended up getting us to this point, but let's not overlook the fact that Gerson Rosas has hit the nuke button on this roster within the last day and a half, just like that. And that is the kind of big picture thinking that this franchise has not had for most of its time in the NBA. You, as an executive, have to be willing to hit the eject button on a moment's notice to try to give yourself a chance to make a run at some impact free agents, trade for players who could help your team, and then build up that way. But we saw the Wolves get so insistent on just sticking it out, riding it out, and well, how'd that work out?
Yeah, I'm just in shock that Andrew Wiggins doesn't play on this basketball team anymore. I've been asking for it for so long, and it just finally came true. I just can't even believe it. The who is left? Who is left to play? So let's think about starters. So you got D'Lo at the 1,
Yep.
Okogie and Culver, both starting.
Probably Okogie at the 2. I think Culver's a little bigger, so maybe he starts at the 3.
And then you've got Cat at the 5.
Hernan Gomez probably your 4. I don't know if he's more of a backup center.
They're so bad beyond those two guys still. I just don't know how many games they're going to be able to win with those two.
Yeah, which is why this year is just get everybody in, see who potentially stands to be part of this group next year, but more so just free up cap space. I almost said crab space because I'm looking at Alan Crabb. Good Lord. got Alan Crabb and Evan Turner now both making 18 million, but they're expiring, so who gives a shit? Um, yeah, it's going to be the message will not be said this way, but Ryan Saunders will basically be saying, or Gerson Rosas will be saying to everyone, because I think Ryan Saunders is probably feeling some or getting some eyes from the front office if he continues to look like he's not capable of being a head coach. So Gerson may as well just say, look, this is a tryout for the rest of the year for everyone not named Cat or D'Angelo Russell. Play well, and you may factor into the long-term plans. If not, see you later.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what it's gonna be. I am
You're speechless, obviously.
I'm speechless. I'm so happy. I just can't believe that Andrew Wiggins isn't on our team anymore. And that they got it done without having to give up an additional first round pick. You pretty much just threw him into the trade. I can't believe that Golden State thinks that that Andrew Wiggins is still worth his weight in anything. Like they took his contract. I just I mean,
Oh, but don't forget,
if D'Lo doesn't fit on
here.
your team in your plans, how does Wiggins? I just don't understand it.
He's different this year. He's playing with more. He's playing better. He's scoring more, and he's getting more involved. So clearly on the up and up. Golden State knows what they're doing. They do have the next Kevin Durant.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. Yeah, now everybody is adding Devin Booker. I've looked at Devin Booker. Oh man. Um, I just wish that they could get Devin Booker here too. That'd be something. I mean, maybe they will. Who
Look at it
knows?
this. Look at it this way. Yeah, you end up giving up assets or whatever to get Devin Booker, and maybe it doesn't end up working out because maybe some other super team gets put together, and you don't end up with the title with that group of three, and then you end up paying for it on the back end. 100 times out of 100, 1,000 times out of 1,000, I would never fault a team, any of our Minnesota sports teams, would never fault them for going for it and for taking assets from the future, some young upcoming players that haven't quite panned out yet. I will never fault any of the teams that we follow for going for it and not getting it because at least they tried.
Right. It,
If the Wolves are able to get Devin Booker and put that group together, that will be the most exciting Wolves roster that we've had, with the exception of the Jimmy Butler year, since Garnett, Sprewell, and Cassell, hands down.
well, yeah, and it's a threesome. They're all best friends who have said that they wanted to play together. So I mean, if you can bring them here and you can win games, then it could also be a trio that wants to stay for a long time compared to one that ends up self-destructing, was, put together out of necessity or out of the draft or whatever. Like, no, these are three guys who are best friends and have been talking about wanting to play with each other for a long time. So you already have, hopefully, you have that cohesion. You don't need to kind of just hope that it's there or build it or whatever the case is. It should already be there. Um, and again, I think the deadline's coming past now. So obviously, Devin Booker isn't coming here now. Um,
Check his
but
Instagram if you followed anybody.
but this off season is still a possibility, and we have room for another max deal now. It's all coming together. Let's just say, Seth, it is all coming together. Is there anything else you want to add before we shut this thing down?
Fuck the Red Sox for not knowing what Google is.
Oh yeah, yeah, that whole thing. I guess that's something we could chat about quick. Yeah, yeah. It's funny too because sometimes when I read stuff, I have to go over it, and I have to here. Let me change our headline here quick since we're changing subjects. Let's see. I was perplexed. It's like you read the headline, and it sure reads as if the Red Sox didn't know that Brusdar Graterol has been used as a relief pitcher for the last couple years. Like it was new news to them. Like you can't just go and do a Google search and end up at MinnesotaSportsFan.com where we just literally wrote a blog piece about how the Twins were planning on using Brusdar Graterol in a relief role for 2020, and me yesterday writing that he's an overrated flamethrower who's going to be pitching out of the bullpen forever. But apparently Boston didn't know about it.
I don't even. So I guess they want more. Which why should we have to give more since the trade was already agreed to? So I don't know.
That's It's just like I wrote it in my blog this morning. Like it's like that mom who comes onto the playground with her son the next day after he just traded you his holographic Charizard card for like trash, like a holographic like Mewtwo or something like that, where you're like, no, Mewtwo is really rare. Trust me, he's rare. And then, oh yeah, Mewtwo is rare. That's like a rare Pokemon. So then they make the trade, and then he realizes that he could have went to the pawn shop down the road and bought 5 Mewtwo's for like $20.
Yeah.
But so then now comes mom stomping down the steps and demanding that you give her son his Charizard back, and it's like, no, fuck your son. He traded me this Charizard. I'm fucking keeping it. He can go buy him with all of your rich Red Sox money. Go buy 100 jumbo packs until you find a new fucking Charizard, because you're not getting this one back. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, the whole thing's dumb.
Almost as dumb as that analogy.
I suppose I
You didn't play
got a
Pokemon
little.
cards when you were in
Oh,
elementary school?
I did,
You
but
never got a Charizard, did you?
I think my brother did.
Mm.
I was always more casual with them, not like, yeah, I'm gonna take all this allowance money and go buy 30 packs. I always was like, okay, I'll buy 2 here.
You didn't ask for every single Christmas present to be Pokemon card packs?
Hell no, I was too busy with Legos. Are you kidding me?
God, you were not cool enough. We would not have hung out in elementary school.
I was also operating a distillery, so I was more busy.
Operating a distillery right out of the bathroom.
Yeah, age 12, just making moonshine in the sink.
Somebody had to make some money for your family.
Or what's that?
Anyways, I don't know what happened. What were you talking about?
I don't even remember.
I interrupted you.
I went in. I got to that fork in the road, and you asked about the analogy, and I veered the other way, and I don't even remember what. I don't remember where I was going with it.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm the MLB, I'm saying no. But like, I don't even know how the MLB allows this to fucking happen. Like, how do you allow Boston to just be like, we've decided that we want a little bit more for this deal? Like, how is that? I just.
Rob, man, just say BFD. Deal with it.
Yep, exactly. All right. Is there anything that we missed here with this trade before we go? I don't want to get off the air and then be like, fuck, we missed this.
I don't think so. The only possible thing that we could go into, and that's more so if it actually like legitimately falls through, is then what do they do next?
The
But we don't.
Wolves. Oh,
Yeah,
the Twins.
yeah. What do the Twins do next? It's very obvious that they did this to try to add a starter. So if this falls through for any reason,
You don't let this fall through. There's no
yeah,
way that you let Boston flex their fucking muscles to the MLB and let this deal fall through. You can't allow it to happen. Everybody and their mom, literally everybody who has the internet, knew what Boston is claiming they didn't know. This is their fucking fault. There's no way that you allow the MLB to take this trade back. That is just be the biggest bullshit of all time. They were talking about it on the MLB Network today about how that's what it looks like. That it looks like Boston just doesn't want to or wants more out of this deal all of a sudden now. Like MLB Network is saying that. Ken Rosenthal is telling I forget the host of those shows of that show, but he's telling that he can't deny. He's like, yeah, that's what it looks like. I can't really say that it's not. That's what it is. Boston just wants more. Fuck you. Take Brusdar Gratterall, stick him in your fucking bullpen, and watch him slowly decline until he's no longer throwing 101 miles an hour, and then maybe he can throw strikes where he wants to throw them.
and I don't know if he even would in that case.
Yeah, good point. All right, that's all we got. It was fun. Breaking news. I don't know what we're gonna call this show yet, but we'll be back. No Minnesota Sports Fan Daily today because we're supposed to start in like an hour, and we just did this and talked about everything that we talked about there, anyways. So this will replace that for today, but I don't know what kind of breaking news could happen, honestly, tomorrow to make us do something like this again. The Twins have now made their massive move. The Timberwolves have traded away everybody. The deadline's over. So it should be back to Minnesota Sports Fan Daily live tomorrow, approximately 3 o'clock Central Time. Until then, go to minnesotasportsfan.com, read up on everything that's happened, follow us at RealMNSportsFan for me on Twitter, at RealSeth or at SethToops for
Here,
Seth on Twitter, and we will talk to you tomorrow, fam.
bye.
Bye.